Hi, this is Richland Rick with Adventuretech, and we're going to be installing the pre-wired wiring harness for LED lights on my 2014 DL1000. The procedure is going to be pretty much the same for any of the generation of V-Stroms. The way I started was I went ahead and installed the light bar for the LED lights. So my lights were in place and I could see where the connections were going to take place. And then I did some trial fitting of the wiring harness. I found a good place for the relay. On the 2014, it looks like it's going to be right here on the V2. On the Gen 1, the Wii and the V, there's a tray that sits right back here where some of your documents and things go. And there's a plastic lip. You can actually take the relay, which includes a connector for bolts, and drill a hole in that plastic tray, and then just mount your relay sideways like this to the box. Before you start drilling any holes, though, what you'll want to do is go ahead and put everything in place and make sure that you've selected a place where you can reach everything that needs to be reached. You can see here that in my case on the V2 that I've got adequate reach to the negative terminal and plenty of reach to the positive battery terminal from the relay. We've got the switch wire here, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But I've started with the lights that power. I'm sorry, the wiring that powers the lights itself, and I've just taken minimal bodywork loose. And I've been able to snake the wires up underneath the tank, and then out the front steering column cavity. This was really easy to do. I just took a rod and taped the wires to the end of the rod, and just sort of ran the rod right up through here, and it just popped out. And from what I remember of the Gen 1 bike, that's the exact way I did it on my 2005 650. Now that we have the wiring for the LED lights run in place, not connected yet, but just in place, making sure that we can reach the locations we go to, we'll direct our attention to the switch that turns the lights on and off. All right, in order to get the switch connection in place, what I'm going to do is, what I've done is disconnected the switch from the wiring harness. There's a 3-point plug here that disconnects, and this runs down to the relay, so we're going to just leave that disconnected for a minute, and we're going to snake the plug down along the frame underneath the bodywork. And there it is. Comes out right there. Okay. With the tape removed, I'm just going to go ahead and connect the switch back together, and then feed the line back up underneath the frame. Alright, now I'm going to check, make sure I've got enough lead to put the switch wherever I want to put it. And I think I'm going to put it on the left side of the handlebar. Okay, we're just going to make sure we have enough wire to get over there. I'll leave this sitting here for the moment. Alright, with all of the lines having been zip tied, I'm going to make a little support stand right here for a bracket to attach the switch on my bike. People with Gen 1 bikes, and if they have my auxiliary dash, they could just use double face tape and adhere it there. You can see the zip ties coming down through here, and I've attached the wires to existing wire looms. And with the positive terminal, ran the positive lead through the cap, so the cap will go back on just like stock. Okay, now the wire that comes from the relay goes to the positive lead of the battery. The red wire that comes from the switch goes to a switched source. That would be a source that is only on when the ignition is on. And on this bike, I'm going to run that to the tail light. It's just basically sensing voltage. It's not really going to draw any amperage to speak of. Alright, so with all my wires shortened up and the connections made, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this in electrical tape so that it cleans up even a little bit more. Alright, we've got the wiring cleaned up, wrapped it up with electrical tape, snugged it in, got my zip ties on. Up here in the front, I've run the right side up along here and of course secured it to existing wire looms. That works really well. When you run the left side, if you come up along the right side, you're running the left. You want to come in behind the forks on both sides, and make sure that you're not, when you're taking this wire around, make sure that you're not inhibiting the movement of any of the other wires. Here we can see the wire coming around, and then I took it down, and I left a little bit of slack over here, but not a heck of a lot. I wound up cutting off about 6 inches of the wire loom because there was extra wire. Here you can see the wire coming up underneath here, and here's a shot of my light bar for the 2014. There's plenty of information about switch sources for the other generations of motorcycles. Basically, a lot of people tap into the stock heated grip switch, which is usually located on the radiator. Now, we'll get a shot of how bright these are. This is daylight, and the can't really tell much, I guess, in daylight. I'll take some more video tonight.